The southward Caucasus Mountains nation is household to several regions named for making residents who dwell to threefold figure ages, inclusive Lank-Aran and Nagorno-Karabakh. But else, Lerik is well known to include the highest focus of centenarians. In the emerald earth top over the clouds in the Talysh Mountains, achieved by hinge following hinge of a coil way, human beings appear to include found a open secret to a length and wholesome lifetime. The couple-room Museum of Long Life, constructed in 1991 and renewed in 2010, holds more than rather than 2,000 exhibits documentation the lives and memories of the area's senior population. It charts person lifespans in the domestic utensils how they've lived, such as 3 generations of clothes irons. Down there are chests imbued in headscarves and shirts, silvery pitchers and bowls, nicely knitting socks, and brush-dyed rugs how are yet vividly painted in spite their year. And later down there are the letters, spelled in both of Azerbaijani language and Ruski, private artifacts so old how the ink is start is wither. Maybe the largest charming features are the portraits of centenarians how lit the museum's walls. These images, date of the 1930s, were sacrificed by France photograph Frederick Lachop. The museum, and formal Azerbaijan statistic, determine centenary more than freely rather than you'd wait, there, it tool nobody above 90-year ancient. Yet, behind in 1991, down there were more than rather than 200 human beings in Lerik recorded as creature more than rather than 100-year ancient, out of a people of 63,000. Numbers include been less than spectacular with later, that original inhabitants accuse differently on emission of communicating towers and ecological decrease, but could fare as readily be downward to more than strict recording keeping. Lerik's present senior individual is Rajai Ibrahimova, at 105 year. How's a penalty branded, but it pales in compare to the age supposedly achieved by region's largest famous centenary, Shirali Muslimov, a herdsman who presumably lived to be 168. The amber pages of his certificate complained how he was unborn in 1805 and his tombstone state how he died in 1973. If real, it would do the senior man to include always lived. Sadly, behind in the previous 19th age, childbirth registrations seldom took location in such a remotely villages as his homeland of Barzavu, so down there is no certifiable recording of while he was unborn. Innumerable letters shipped of all above the planet on his different birthdays keep no question how he was really of a really reputable year, but it's maybe top 2 element in a minimal 20-year profit of mistake. Amongst those appropriate in Muslimov were Vietnamese communistic lead Ho Chi Minh, who shipped a card welcome him in the caress, expensive grandfather. Meeting by the box, wrapped up in a scarf, she speaks in a light emphasis, switch frequently to her home tongue of Talysh, a vernacular speak by fair 200,000 human beings and confidential as sensitive by UNESCO. She shows off her certificate, that doesn't listing a monthly or day of childbirth, just the year, 1924. She may be 95, but she is completely this, cooperating in her large grandchildren, and showing her vivid feeling of humor. While requested her year, she merrily replies, 15. Immobility of the reason is portion of their open secret, the museum manual says. They remain off of distress, thought on lifetime rather philosophically, residing one day at a period, out of lot planner or worry about for the next. Kambarova's day starts at sunrise, she doesn't let by herself sleeping in. I get up as quickly as my eyes outdoor, she says. She spends the entire day work in the kindergarten or about the building. Her chamber is little, in a heavy gentle rug and pillows on the story. Lot human beings there choose a sleep on the land, in fair a slim quilt instead of a mat, as it's believed to be the healthiest way to otherwise the behind. Opposite to famous faith, the centenarians of Lerik do eat flesh, but they legacy a priority for crisp milk means such as shore, cabin cottage cheese, oil, breast milk and the yogurt sip errand of over centenarians, for whom the temperance of flesh was more than due to economical term. Kambarova's child-in-law brings in a big platter in pears and apples of their kindergarten and several aroma chike. It's herb, flour and freshening. Behind at the museum, the manual shows a spreadsheet in the different spicy herbs home to Lerik. This open secret of length lifetime is nice food, the mineral deposits in the springtime water supply and the spicy herbs how we add to tea to hinder illnesses, so human beings don't tea include to get any medical, just with the nature remedies, says the manual. Really, Kambarova insists she's never undertaken any medicine. For her windows, it may appear how the countryside is peaceful and yet. But the natural job how villagers put in each day is vast. Of rising sun before sundown they job in gardens and fields as so as about the building. They sew and bind and get thoroughness of big families. Such a was the way of life of Mamad Khan Abasov, a 103-year-old of Jangamiran countryside. Meeting on the rug, through of the box, the centenary has nearly fully lose his view and can hardly listen his son expressive him how guests include arriving, but while he eventually catches it, he starts sing, offer prayers and nice wishes. Fair love Kambarova, Abasov has been a lively rural resident his entire lifetime, work in the fields before on 7 year back, while his sight degraded. In regulation of meal, he food everything God gives in fair one limitation, he never drinks alcoholic. Abasov attributes his length lifetime to everyday natural operation, not to the spot of depletion, but quite to problem the flesh. On in the nice food of the farmer means, he as well utilized to sip liters of ice pack cold springtime water supply, that is wealthy in mineral deposits told to promote to long life. The ages of several of these famous centenarians may yet be contested, but there in Lerik their heritage lives on via the human beings how yet dwell by the easy open secret of Lerik's long life, natural operation, nice food, lot of water supply and in relation to lifetime how says, we just dwell one day, but if we do it order, one day is quite